This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
It's time for Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Cody, and with me are Kyle and Ken.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. We are in April. It is SVOG Month.
SVOG money. Let's make it rain. Come on. It's finally time. We're finally here. We're supposed to be here in January, but it's now April, and we were here.
What a journey it's been, right?
Oh, it's like time doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah. Not for these things.
Yeah,
No.
They just kept pushing it back and waiting to release it. That doesn't sound at all familiar.
It's nothing new out of this industry, clearly.
No.
They knew it. They knew their audience. They knew we could handle it. If anybody could handle
They
it.
can deal.
They know.
Theater
They
people
know the process now.
But after all the waiting, though, it seems like it's finally actually happening.
Yes.
Hopefully with no setback. I don't think there should be,
Well,
but it looks like it should be good to go.
The government's involved, so
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the wild card.
Exactly.
in
Kind of,
this
sort
one.
of, maybe, but it looks good.
We
Maybe.
know that SVOG, the application, the portal, will be open on April 8th. We know that. We do not know what time of day. When on April 8th is it open? First thing in the morning, in the afternoon,
Midnight.
midnight? And so really it's April 9th? We don't know. We don't know that yet. But we kind of know that it's April 8th, so we should have all of our ducks in a row by then to pull the trigger on that application portal. And what we're hearing is that there's going to be a bigger emphasis on the budget. The one portion of the application is a proposed budget of how you're going to spend this SVOG money. And that's looking to be more strict and restrictive than they thought, and there's going to be more emphasis placed on staying close to that budget. It's not like a preliminary, like, kind of where do you think the money is going to go? This is where is this money going, and you cannot be more than 10% over these amounts that you stated. So
I'm going to buy a boat.
yeah. So while it
Very
seems
lucrative.
simple and basic, there's, just a dozen, what am I trying to say? A dozen expense types that you can spend the SVOG money
Expense
on.
categories.
Yeah, categories. Thank you. Gosh. What was that for?
Categories.
Okay. I did not get that.
It's a dumb pun.
I did not. That went right over.
I wouldn't blame it if it was a lot of other people, too. That was
kitty cat? Like, what?
Hey, save that for
A
later.
P word?
She's like, save that.
Yeah.
Save that for later, big guy.
Yeah. It's like, that was inappropriate.
Kyle's in here.
Yeah.
Nothing. It wouldn't change anything. I've been on this podcast many times with you, too.
Anyways, there's only a few categories, but stick with them and be really close. Get all of your bills for 2020 together, and just, you know what your expenses were. Just really stick close to what those numbers are. Don't try to fudge them too much. Build in a little bit of a cushion, but stick with that for your amount. They still don't know how they're going to, in the application process, account for the PPP money you're supposed to get. I know that PPP money second draw has been dispersed in some cases, especially if you got in your application before the 31st deadline. So, have that kind of ready, because if you haven't applied for it yet and or you haven't been the money hasn't been dispersed, I'm not sure how to account for that in the application process, so there might be some weird overlap there.
But they have the categories of the things you can spend money on.
Yeah.
So you can spend it on past rent,
Yes.
film rental.
Oh, film rental is a necessary expense for sure.
You can pay your film buyer if there's any money owed.
Any subscription services as well.
Oh, I can think of one or two.
Yeah. So yeah, all necessary expenses can be expensed out. Payroll, any Any loans that you took out prior to the pandemic can also be expensed out. So if you were up in the middle of upgrading the theater with new seats and you took out a loan to do that, that can be expensed out. I think that's going to be, it's going to get a lot of people to zero, to kind of get them caught up where they should be.
And you will have survived the apocalypse that we never thought was possible.
Yeah.
If you can get 2-0, that's as good as it gets, people.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's the top of the mountain here. The top of the mountain is literally 0.
Yeah. So we do have a checklist provided by SBA on our website of documents that you will need. They are figuring out that you will need 2019 taxes. You will also need 2020 taxes. And with the tax deadlines being pushed back so far, you're not going to probably have your 2020 taxes available. And so it looks like when this grant is awarded, it's not going to be one lump sum. It will be partial payments based upon when you get tax documents in. So you might get half, you might get 1%. They don't really know what's going to happen with that either. So we're like a week out. We still don't know how much money you're going to get, but you're going to get something for
It's
having
happening.
Yeah, for having your 2019 taxes, and you will probably get the rest of the grant amount due when you have 2020 taxes done.
But we've got all the information available on Silver Screen Insider.
Yep.
Up to date.
Yeah.
Everything you need to be prepared for this.
And then SBA did a webinar on the application process, and we will put a link to that webinar up on the site as well after this podcast. So you can go check that out. They recorded it. Go watch that webinar. Check the FAQs on the site and check the checklist so you make sure you have all your documents in order.
I'm glad we got that out of the way at the top, because I
Yeah.
always tend to glaze over when it comes to all these government mumbo jumbo type stuff. So I'm glad we got it out of the way. We're gonna get into the fun stuff.
Right. We don't have
kind
any-
of fun stuff.
We don't have specifics, but it's just getting closer. It's happening, and when we get more information, we'll post it. We did post a spam email that I got.
Yeah, it's on our social media channel, Silver Screen Insider, and I believe Off the Break Podcast as well, that we've been seeing a spam email going around. There's an image of it on those channels. Just ignore it.
Yeah.
If you have seen something similar to that, it's nothing.
The email address is obviously not from a government email, so please do not. If you get something and it's not an official government email, just toss it away. They're just looking for money.
Don't click the
something.
links.
Yeah, don't click. Don't click on it.
Trust me, I did, and it was a mistake.
Before we move on, I do want to try something with Kyle. He said he does glaze over when we start talking government stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Okay, Kyle, look directly into my eyes. W-2, 1099, 1098, 401k, 1776, 1492.
Now you're just naming dates.
No, he laughed. He
laughed.
It didn't work.
He was paying attention. Okay, well then let's get on to some changes in the release schedule. Before we get that, I do want to say how awesome is Godzilla. It did $9 million on a Wednesday night opening.
That is
It's like
that's a
legit
big deal.
real.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For Wednesday openers, I was looking back historically. For this, in most of our locations, you're looking at Wednesday grosses for like Frozen and Star Wars in
Yeah.
2019. There's nothing that we've had close to this since then.
Yeah.
I mean, I know obviously it's not a Wednesday opening or Friday openings, but those are the two biggest movies of that year, Wednesdays.
Right. Yeah.
Like this was it. Like this, time to get on the bandwagon,
Oh
people.
my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we're not at full capacity in most of the country, but
By show.
But
or-
it just showed the studios that if it's a film that people want to see, they are coming. They are coming.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
saw-
nearly a double-digit opening on a Wednesday.
on just Wednesday. Now, it could have been front loaded because there was a lot of eager beavers out there that went and saw it, but I'm thinking that bodes really well for this weekend. That over the 5-day, I mean, we were kind of internally guessing in the $20 million range. I think it's going to hit that. It's easily going to be the first big film out of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, It was supposed to be Tenet, but clearly that didn't work. But hey, we'll do it for Godzilla versus Kong. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it
Love
takes.
it.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Croods, but it wasn't Croods until 12 weeks later.
Yeah.
And then it was supposed to be Wonder Woman, and that was like, oh, okay.
Oh, let's forget about that one.
Yeah. Just stumbled there a little.
Who thought the two fighting monsters were the ones that would save the day?
But
Honestly, we should have expected
John
that.
David Washington, Nicolas Cage's voice, Gal Gadot. Like, turns out it's two creatures that don't speak.
And really, it checks out.
Yeah.
The audience just wants fun nowadays, and you know what? It looks like fun. I can't wait to see that in theaters.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's hitting multiple demographics, mostly male, which you expect, but lots of age groups are going. It's going to be good. I am just so excited, and I don't know if I could have taken another like mediocre. Yeah. Is this the new opening? You know, this is what we're getting now.
That
I've
article.
seen millions of dollars here.
No, that
Billions.
article,
This is so nice.
That article again, box office does not bounce back.
Yeah.
Like, we've had that for a year straight.
I
And
mean,
seeing this is awesome.
it's so good. It just feels like summer is right around the corner, and that we're gonna survive this. We're gonna get the SVOG money. We're gonna get PPP money. We're gonna get some good grossing movies. I don't want to look too far past Godzilla because it's like kind of another hole, and then hopefully Quiet Place
Only on
and
the positive, only on the
Cruella
positive.
comes in, so we're good there. But yeah, stay positive.
I'm getting a margarita machine.
I want banana daiquiris. That just sounds so good. There used to be a Mexican restaurant, and Ken and I would go sometimes and get banana daiquiris. No, I would get
Ken
them.
and you would go, and you would get multiple banana daiquiris. Yes,
Yes.
that is.
My ride, Ken, would take me.
Let's just say there
to
was
go
a
get-
DD.
I would get chips and salsa, and then yelled at when I told her it was time to leave. That was the two things I would get.
Ken, you're probably like, thank God that restaurant's gone. I mean, oh no.
Well, they quit serving banana daiquiris, and it was a slow death after that for that place.
That did it.
Yeah.
Early pandemic, we were making banana daiquiris for lunch at home. So
We had a few pina coladas for lunch in the day.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
I was like, this is really easy.
this is so much fun.
Yeah.
Quarantine life's great. Why don't we do this more often?
Yeah.
2:30, you're like, I really need to take a nap
Nap.
right now.
Oh, I'm at home. I can.
Home.
We're getting into a lifestyle that is probably not healthy.
I know. I do know what our retirement together is going to look like, though.
It's
It's like, hey, do you want to wake up now? No.
No.
Okay, let's wake up. It's time for lunch, drinks, and then a nap.
Honestly, that sounds like a great retirement plan.
No,
to
that's
me.
the dream.
That's the dream. You guys just got a head start already.
Also, footed pajamas.
Oh yeah, onesies for
Naturally.
sure.
Naturally.
Just what they're all marked Monday
gets-
through Sunday.
Yeah, it gets cold here, so we need it. We need onesies, matching ones, because we're
Right.
fun like that, Kyle.
I'm not criticizing you guys. I think it's brilliant.
All right, so because Godzilla is doing so good, and Warner Brothers moved back Mortal Kombat. At first, when I heard it moved back, I got frustrated because I had just made sure that I had all my Mortal Kombat dates in, and I had literally just emailed the booker at Warner's and was like, hey, can we finally get these confirmed? And he wrote back, I will let you know when I have some more information. And then the news broke, and I was like, what just happened? I'm like, so I replied back to his email, did you just move the date?
Hey guys, watch this.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah. I was like,
Wait for it. The phone rings.
It all happened within our email chain. It wasn't like an hour later the news broke. No,
Yeah.
it was within our email chain.
So it was your fault?
I think it was my fault.
Again?
I think I need to.
Dang it, Cody.
If the timing, the coincidence is becoming suspect here.
They know. They all
It's
know.
like they
Everyone
know.
knows.
I was like, and then I'm like, damn it! Now I'm gonna have to move them all back a week.
Why does this keep happening?
They did it on purpose, but I'm happy because it does mean Godzilla is strong enough that they don't want to cut it off, and I agree. Like it made a hole on April 16th, but that was a hole that was much easier to fill than the April 23rd, April 30th holes that I had. So
Yeah.
it just moved everything back, which is it was a lot more workable for me.
Yeah, Godzilla will last those 3 weeks now, it seems like, and Mortal Kombat will be ready to go. So
Yeah.
This is a much more micro set of changes that we had this week versus
manageable.
The Disney thing where it's just like
Yeah.
let's just blow up the entire
you
schedule.
want your day to be ruined?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they
That was so great, Kyle. Oh,
we need to get
would you like me to ruin your day? Oh. Eat shit. Oh.
Kyle, you're gonna get us in trouble.
That's why I tried to make it quiet, and then Ken came back and tried to do it himself.
It's okay. We were in a marketing meeting looking at logos for another company, and I made an inappropriate joke to Ken quietly on a Zoom call about beavers, and he brought it up to the group and made it a thing. It was an inappropriate joke gone awry.
I was walking
So he will do that to
I
you.
walked past your office door, and then I heard him bring up something along those lines. So I was like, what is happening in that meeting?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I had to have this marketing team that we've employed for our other company to, professionally give us some guidance on some marketing and branding.
Yeah.
And they honestly thought about the beaver as a logo.
Oh, you just had to. It was like, it's an amphibious mammal.
No,
I said it.
No, she
Chop
said
down
it already
trees.
like a minute ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just walked right through that. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna wet their beaks with, be real subtle about this. See if I can add your guesses to our social media channels on what this animal could be.
Yes.
Well,
Okay, we've gone off the rails.
Okay,
Let's
we've
get
gone
back
off
to
the
these.
rails. We have to move on.
Oh!
Okay. And then Warner Brothers also moved Reminiscence from September 3rd to August 27th. So they moved that up. So that's good. That's a move up. I like move ups.
Yeah, I believe that one's a horror movie.
there's
if
so-
I'm trying to remember correctly, so
There's
it's
so
another
many
one. But
horror movies coming out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
One-word titles of multiple syllable words are always horror or teen romance.
Teen romance. Yeah, I was going to say.
That could
It's
be
one of those two.
I could see that being a teen romance title. I get that now.
And then Sony moved Venom, Let There Be Carnage back from September 17th to September 24th. So they're moving. That's not a big move. I would keep your eyes out on that moving again.
Still in the running for best title of 2021.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily. And 2020, because it was supposed to come out.
It was totally a 2020 perfect one. And then Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, which is just, I know it has something to do with it, but come on, this is just a weird title.
I just can't wait for the trailer just to see how that title connects.
Is Mila Jovovich in this?
Probably.
How could she not be?
Who else would?
Are they able to make a movie without her? Is she contractually
le-
obligated to be in
legally
every
they
single
cannot.
one? Okay, that moved from September 3rd to November 24th because you know what you really want at Thanksgiving is a Resident Evil movie.
Sony
Now-
is killing it with these dates.
Now I will
Unholy.
I will say Monster Hunter came out before Christmas, and that ended up being okay.
After Christmas.
No.
It was before, right?
It was.
No, but it became okay after Christmas. No
Well,
one really wanted to see it at Christmas.
I'm playing a little loose with the semantics of it
Okay.
all, but maybe after Thanksgiving it could be fine.
But-
Maybe. I'm trying to give people hope.
Because you really want to see Resident Evil at Christmas time?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying there's hope.
Come on, Sony. You gotta get your shit together. Know when your movies are good. And maybe not family holiday times for horror pictures.
Kyle, I apologized. I said shit first, and now Cody's like, the floodgates have opened. Get ready for the F-bomb, people.
Yeah, it's coming.
And we're not, this isn't even like the episode where we're the most mad.
No.
Playing
just-
fast and loose with the four-letter words.
Frustrated.
I thought she was going to say it.
Very, very frustrated. So frustrated.
It's fine.
All right, what else moved?
Okay, the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard from Lionsgate moved up from August to July. So, I mean, that really...
June.
June, sorry. that really reinforced June. I'm excited about that.
That's in the running
That's
for the
really
worst
good.
movie title of 2021.
It's
The Hitman's
a
Wife's
mouthful.
Bodyguard.
It's a bit
Yeah.
clunky. It's a bit
I
clunky.
like the publicity still they put out with the announcement where she's like in the middle and then Ryan Reynolds is like beat up and bloody and Samuel Jackson's like fine. She's fine and he's all bloody like he's taking all the hits.
I can't wait to see what the scene is before that.
Yeah. And he's just like so frustrated, you could tell. Okay, In the Earth from Neon moved from April 23rd to April 16th. So that's just one move up.
In the Earth, is that a lava story?
Love it.
I was trying to think, is that the pun?
Yeah.
Is that the pun here?
And Dog from United Artists, which I still really don't know what that is, moved from July 16th to February 18th of 2022. I don't think United Artists knows what to do with that.
An early favorite for the worst title of 2022.
Yeah. Dog.
I think
If it's not followed by Bounty Hunter, I don't care.
Or preceded by Snoop.
Yeah.
I don't know what this
I don't
is.
know what
otherwise
this
we're
is.
not interested. I think it's a comedy with Channing Tatum, but I could be wrong. I just thought I read something about it.
I'm guessing it's about a cat.
That's a pretty bold take there.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Let's see if it sticks.
So, as far as booking strategies, no, just fill up Godzilla screens
Add
as much
extra
as I can.
shows.
Add extra shows. Do what you can. Capitalize on the momentum that you're getting from that. And hopefully, Godzilla will go into Mortal Kombat. Now, Mortal Kombat being a hard R won't be as big as Godzilla, but I think it'll create a little bit of momentum, at least on 2 or 3 screens in your complex. So I am looking forward to that. There's some faith-based titles, Girl Who Believes in Miracles and Walking with Herb. Those are 2 faith-based titles that I think could do some business, be some alternative programming at this time. So
Get away from the horror movies coming out
and
on
then-
Good Friday.
and then there's a bazillion horror movies coming out. So yeah, I mean, I get why there's a lot of horror. They're really cheap to make.
Yeah.
They do pretty well. Everybody's kind of throwing them out there now before the big product comes out. So
Yeah. Easiest way to make the money back and then some.
But I think as far as promotion strategies, now's the time to add trailers in for these faith-based films, these horror films, like at least get the word out, because there's not going to be any promotion on
No.
these things.
Yeah.
nope, not going to be any promotion. So it's going to be a little lean after Godzilla and Mortal Kombat. But, we'll see a little bump at the beginning of May with Wrath of Man. That'll work. That'll be for the action crowd. And then, we've got Spiral in the middle of May 14th, and that'll be kind of a little bump. So we're just kind of getting to these little milestones of just trying to get a couple weeks and then a new film, a couple weeks and a new film. And
Yeah. And then there's always a chance somebody moves back after seeing what Godzilla did.
gosh, I hope so.
Or moves
Yeah.
up. Excuse me. Moves up.
Maybe Sony will put Peter Rabbit back where it should be.
If I see it
They'll
move one
open
more
it.
time, I'll
They'll
lose
open it
Yeah.
this weekend. They'll open it. They'll tell us on Thursday, "Hey, we can get this in on
Yeah.
Friday. Let's do this."
Let's do this. I will do it,
We tried.
though.
We already tried, guys.
Yeah. We were
We'll
right
tell,
there.
We'll tell them the same thing they tell us when a booking's late. Sorry, can't do it.
Sorry, can't
It's too
accommodate
late.
this request.
Nope, can't accommodate this request.
Yeah. You missed the
You've
cutoff.
got a past due balance of 35 cents.
Yeah. We need that in before we can confirm this booking.
Yeah.
Can I tell them they have a past due amount of millions of dollars that I've missed out on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's that for the art
I
industry?
want my money for Connected.
Yeah.
That didn't play.
Yeah. Where's all of our you
That we'll
sold it to
never get.
streaming money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Them and Paramount must have back offices just full of IOUs
Yeah.
to all the theaters.
Put them in the IOU pile and then let's never bring
Well,
it
then
up.
let's burn it
Yeah.
for warmth.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, speaking of putting out horrible movies on family holidays, how was Unholy? You saw did you? and
Speaking of
Ken,
bad
or just
transitions, Kyle.
She got to the point.
to the point, okay? I moved us along, Ken. Kyle,
Yes.
how was Unholy? Ignore
Um,
Ken. He's out of this conversation now.
I mean, it's a very typical horror movie, just filled with cliche jump scares and, just the sort of thing within like these cheap, wide release commercial horror movies they see a million times over. So there is an audience for it, but I mean, for me, I didn't like it at all. I mean, I do scare easily, but I know cheap scares when I see one, and this
Yeah.
movie was just filled with them. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is great in it, though, and I thought it had at least a promising story with, like, his character, but beyond that, like, the scares just ruin it. Like, it's not very scary, and it's very cliched, played out tropes that they use to scare people.
Well, it is PG-13, and
It is,
so I think that does help it right now. Just have more accessibility to a younger kind of teenage audience. So it'll probably be really good for them. I mean, not too scary that you don't want your kids seeing it, but scary enough that it's like, yeah,
It's
let's.
not sleep with the lights on scary.
Yeah. Yeah, where they're traumatized.
I guess it could be good for a teenage audience. I just don't know what, aside from like a Walking Dead fan, I don't know if any other teenagers are wanting to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan in this type of horror movie.
Oh, I
that,
don't
like,
think
deals
I
with,
don't
like-
think it's front. They want to go see it because of the actors. I think they just want to see a scary movie. Like it's a
I mean,
movie
I'm
they
just
can go
saying,
to.
even still, like I don't see many teenagers like really wanting to check this one out.
Just any excuse to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Get away from.
I mean, when you
Mom
put
and
it in
Dad.
those terms,
I would watch
sure.
Right.
watch a bad horror movie if I was 14 to get out of the house after being stuck with my parents for a year.
I mean, that's a good point, and there's an audience that likes these types of movies where they do have those, jump scares that we see over and over again. So maybe your theater will do well with that crowd, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm not into horror films, so I'm a very poor judge of this because I don't do the horror movie genre. I don't see what anybody sees in it. I'm like, ugh. But I also don't understand like killer podcasts and the
Oh yeah.
I don't get any of that genre about the serial killer podcasts, and I just don't know why people want to know about murder so bad. So I am very out of touch because those are very popular.
Yeah, I don't understand those either.
I never watched Snapped or Wives with Knives or any of those shows. It's just like that's awful. I don't want to watch that. So,
Yeah, I don't know. There's an audience for it when it comes to like podcasts and stuff, but I don't know. When it comes to movies, it's much harder to like convince people to go to horrors, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, subscribe to my new solo podcast, Boo, where we talk about murders and scary movies. Boo. It's hashtag boo period.
Yeah.
Boo.
It's a very serious podcast. That's why it's a period instead of an exclamation point.
No, it's just straightforward.
We should get our
Boo.
youngest to be like, woo. Sometimes he puts a blanket over his head and pretends to be a ghost. And he's like,
Of course.
woo. So cute.
That'll be the sound that plays in like the end of the intro music.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Woo.
little too aggressive. I'm looking for more like a meh. A
Meh.
boo.
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 Nah,
Nah.
whatever. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got for Unholy. Hopefully it plays well,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, what else we got?
Well, yesterday, some big news dropped that Netflix acquired Knives Out 2 and 3, and they paid $450 million in order to get both those movies. So
Yeah.
that's fun.
I love your last comment. Paying $450 million to develop 2 Knives Out sequels. Biggest streamer movie deal in history. This sucks. That pretty much
does.
sums it up. Not only I think does Netflix it overvalues some of these sequel films that probably I mean how much did the original Knives Out do in this country?
I think 300
In
million.
this country,
No,
did
globally.
100.
Oh, globally?
It did like
don't-
300.
US it did 100.
US
Yeah.
it did 100? Okay.
Yeah.
So the second and third, are you going to see a bump? See, even if you got a little bump, that's still only $200 million and they paid $450. So what?
No,
Like,
and it's
what was the
Netflix.
return
Like,
here?
what's the Netflix has an audience already.
Right.
They're not. They can't add 10% of a new audience. That's not possible.
Right.
I mean, they're wanting to keep adding content, but they already have the audience.
You'd have to
begin
start
with.
paying
Yeah.
people's internet bills to add more customers.
I found it weird from Lionsgate's angle. Like I know, like the producing company for Knives Out, they were like, "Ooh, $450 million, yeah, take it." But you'd think Lionsgate would be like, "No, like this is really
but-
good for us. Like let's hold on to this and be able to
Yeah.
still make money in theaters." Like
Well, it's
it probably won't get like major bumps for every single sequel, but still could be pretty good money.
I think it's just cash on hand right now.
Right.
They have the ability to put 8 figures, 9 figures in their pocket, and we're like, "Hey, let's
Yeah.
do this and move on."
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess where I'm going with this is like, it was never going to make that much money in theaters, but I can't imagine it recouping this cost for streaming. Like, so where's the trade-off here? Did they overpay and then are they going to get burned and then hopefully they won't quit? They'll quit sniping some of these movies so the theaters get a shot at it? Or does this play to our strengths for the theaters that, hey, because our argument is you need theaters to supplement the value in these films for the streaming dollars. Does this help or hurt that? And I don't know. I kind of think it might help the theater's position in a weird way, because how can you possibly recoup $450 million off 2 yet to be determined sequels when you're not charging anything? Like,
I mean,
charging any extra for it.
I don't think there's going to be any way to tell. I mean, it's not like Netflix always drops their, streaming numbers and what they got out of it. And even if they do, like, keep in mind, like, their estimates for like what counts as like watching something is like 2 minutes. If you get 2 minutes in, that counts as a watch, which that's dumb to begin with. So
yeah,
either the numbers could be skewed because of that, or we just will never know.
We'll just never know.
The idea of this that you had is good. Like, the streaming companies have to overpay for these things for the price to come back down to make it worthwhile going to theaters.
Yeah.
If they can afford to pay $200 million for every movie that's released, there won't be movies in theaters. But they can't. So we're dealing with Netflix and Amazon, who burn $100 bills to heat their factories.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than natural gas right now, I heard.
No. And that's what they did. They quietly had an auction between, I think, Amazon and Apple and Netflix.
That checks the
out.
Sweet spot. If you have anything to auction off, name something, Cody. Anything in the world.
Antique armoire.
You have an antique armoire? Wouldn't you want to auction it off between those 3 parties?
Yeah.
Like, anybody says a number, it has 14 zeros behind it.
That's right.
Like, and then immediately the other 2 parties are like, "Oh, I got to get that over them." No matter what the cost.
No, those are definitely the big 3 that you have to, if you had to sell something, like,
right.
It's the big 3. It makes sense, at least from
so the
those who
deal
aren't theaters.
is just the detective. Is it Perot character? What's his name? I never even watched Knives Out to tell you.
What was his name? Benoit or something
Benoit?
like that? I think
yeah.
so.
So it's the detective. What I gathered was it was the detective character, and these 2 sequels will probably be other stories. It probably won't involve that family again.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of gonna be like Murder on the Orient Express and
Death on the
Nile. It's pretty much gonna be that, but like modern day.
But new ensemble casts and
yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah, and I am bummed though. Like, I wasn't really wanting like a Knives Out sequel at all. But
I didn't think there was a story there for a sequel. But I guess if you're following just that one character, you could make sequels from it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that you can do it that way. I just really appreciated Knives Out for what it was, and I was fine with it being a one and done story. But I got to like experience it in theaters multiple times, and I think it really was a big reason why I love that movie so much.
I think that they got away with valuing these things so high because it worked in the theater and word of mouth kept it going, and it turned out to be a surprise hit.
Yes.
But on streaming, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that same word of mouth. I don't think.
Not quite. I mean, they're definitely going to see like a big week, but I think the word of mouth will die out when it comes to streaming by then.
So by their numbers, 2 movies are worth $450. So hang in there with me. Don't check my math. So one of these movies is worth $225 million, and the original only made $100 million, $300 million internationally. So 225 equates to $300 million worldwide. So when they were pricing out James Bond, and there was this number floating around of like 600 million, wasn't that the number?
Yeah.
600 million, and the last one made 900 million internationally. So 3 times that would be $675 million. So they were close. Like, if this becomes the high watermark, it was on track for what these are going to be valued at moving forward.
Well,
so if you have a movie that's going to make $1, how much is that worth to Amazon?
Yeah.
It's worth 3 times that. It's worth $3.
Whatever it is, you take the deal. Yeah. So yeah, this stinks.
It does.
And-
But like we said, we weren't looking for Knives Out sequels. We didn't. But knowing that there was potential for sequels with that character, it makes me sad that they're not going to be in theaters at all. That just one more property and that is going to streaming and not to theaters. And I think we're going to see this more and more, where maybe the first film that debuts in theaters and does really well, and then you're going to see second and third sequels go to streaming because then they built off of what the theaters created.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't think of it in that way. I was thinking more of like, man, if Knives Out's getting sold, like what other possible franchises could be getting sold next? But I didn't think of it in that way of, studios kind of playing that waiting game, being like, let's release this first one in theaters. If it does well, then we'll sell sequels to streamers.
Right. Or
I guess
we'll
is a
put the
possibility.
sequels on our streaming platforms after we've legitimized what they are through the theater process.
Yeah.
After we solidified a franchise by cooking it in the theaters, and now we're going to, put it on streaming after that.
Yeah, that does make me worry that theaters will be like the testing ground and not,
Put the good stuff out there.
Yeah, not being like a confidence thing, but rather just a testing thing.
That was like the old straight to video model. They had a deep. I was looking up Deep Blue Sea the other night. They had a second one, right? Mm-hmm. They had a third one also. So there's 3 Deep Blue Sea movies, and 2 of them were just straight to DVD or streaming. So this is the old model where they're like, I don't think the sequel's going to work. Let's just put it on DVD to start.
Yeah, we'll just put it on streaming.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Deep Blue Sea 3.
I think the only difference is, though, they never made good quality movies to go right to DVD. Like now they're making good quality movies to cement more subscribers on their site to get their boost, to draw them in, to keep them coming back. And that's, I think, the big change between the home video market, the DVDs, and what we're seeing today. So
I don't know why this popped in my head, but I was remembering that Toy Story 2 was initially going to be like a straight to VHS type movie, but they decided to put it in theaters, and now it's praised as like one of the best Toy Story movies and one of the best Pixar movies in general. And I'm just thinking that it's so funny that it's almost like it's becoming backwards now, to where studios would rather be like, you know what, instead of theaters, let's put it on streaming instead. And it could end up being like something really great, but it wasn't able to go to theaters.
right.
Like it's a weird, it's such a backwards thing for me, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it makes me nervous.
We'll just have to watch it moving forward. But
Yeah.
if we go back to our podcast, some of our earliest podcasts, we theorized that what we would see with the streaming wasn't so much competition as much as a filtering process, that certain movies would get made for theaters and certain movies would get made for streaming. I think we had initially thought it would have been based on a quality, like a price point. Like we are going to spend cheap amount of money to make a high volume of stuff for streaming, and that we will leave our quality stuff for the theater to drive people back to the streaming afterwards. And what we're seeing now is that they are putting quality into that streaming and not into the theatrical. And maybe that is shaping up to be a lot different than what we had thought before. But I had always assumed that it was never going to be so much of a day in dating as much as we're going to make content for streaming sites, and this content is for theaters, and we're just hoping that it would be more even. But now it looks like it's going to be less and less theaters, more and more streaming.
I mean, unless if something changes for the better post-pandemic, but that's just what it seems like with the landscape. But it could change on a dime. We just don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm used to it. Maybe I should just start putting more of these streaming movies on booking sheets and see if the reverse happens.
People will just be like, all right, sure.
Yeah, let's put that in theater.
Ha! Check out Soul on Disney Plus. Ha! Get out of here, you damn mouse.
So, what's coming up, Kyle, that we might have some trailers and stuff for? What should we get excited about after Godzilla?
I think Wrath of Man and Spiral, because both of them dropped trailers this week, and they're both coming out in May.
Nice. Well, the Wrath of Man trailer I thought looked really good. I really like Jason Statham. He's just your, hot, uppity crust British action hero, which is a nice change, But
He does it right.
He does. I liked the twist it seemed like there was in that trailer, where there's a reason he's there and he's so good at what he does and he's like killing everybody and you don't know if it's like a revenge plot or what it is. So I feel like there's more to the story there than what meets the eye, and I liked that. That actually may be something that I might want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the story, the action, Jason Statham reuniting with Guy Ritchie, it all feels like a Ritchie movie.
It does very much.
And I'm in for it. Like, his movies sometimes are hit and miss, but I feel like this one would be like more of his hits to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just appreciative of that. Like, it looks like it's a ton of fun, and you can't do wrong with Statham. He's awesome.
No, May 7th for that one.
Yeah, as long as all the bad guys are under 6 feet, it'll be great.
Well, a lot of guys are under 6 feet, so a lot of them are probably bad.
So there's
it
a
works
chance.
out.
They were all bad.
They were all bad. They were not tall. And then we saw the Spiral trailer. So they released a new version of the Spiral trailer, because we had pre-pandemic had Spiral was starting to make its marketing push, and so I vaguely remember the old trailers, but I watched the new one and I liked how they played up Chris Rock. Chris Rock. I said that, and then I was like, wait, no, he doesn't do these movies.
But he does.
But he does.
And he looks good.
And he looks really good. And I liked the back and forth, and it showed a little bit more of the story and some of the scary traps and stuff, and they looked really scary. So
yeah, it feels
really scary.
I mean, yeah.
Really scary.
They did. They really did.
I mean, with the traps, I could see it being just what all Saw fans are wanting out of these movies, but it feels like it's Seven, like a more commercial Seven at the same time, which I'm here for that. I like having that detective angle instead of it just being the usual stuff that we get from the Saw franchise.
I love me some high production cop movies.
Do you believe, though, that Samuel L. Jackson is Chris Rock's dad? I mean, aren't they the same age?
No.
Close to the same, probably.
Can they be father-son? Are they?
Okay, here we go.
I felt like that was a little bit unbelievable.
I mean,
Like
Chris
an
Rock,
uncle or a cousin, maybe, but a father-son?
I guess Chris Rock kind of has like a younger vibe or energy, but he is like a dad now lately, and you can see some like rays in his hair. So you're
a father and a grandfather.
Could be.
It still can be father and son if someone's a grandfather. Chris Rock's 56.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson is 72.
He does not look like he's 72.
No.
No, and that's like
He looks much younger.
Isn't
than
that teenage dad age range?
Yeah, but
That's why I didn't think it was believable.
it's believable.
They're like, have you seen your father? And I'm like, they're not father son. They're too close in age.
They
They
younged him up.
72.
Yeah. I know.
Good for him. He looks great.
He didn't start until he was like 40, though. He didn't really get any
Well,
traction.
he didn't get his. Yeah, you're right.
He got traction in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yeah, you're 40 already.
Right. But still, I mean, he looks great with age. That's for sure.
I felt like that was the most unbelievable part of the trailer, was that they were father son.
I mean, I didn't get that, but I guess I could kind of see why. But I mean, the age works, so there you go.
Yeah.
Sort of.
For some people.
Guess.
You can't suspend disbelief for the
that was
horror
bugging.
guy wearing the pig mask and never got caught, but the ages of certain characters.
Yeah, that got me. It just got me.
Clearly, you didn't get lost in their characters. You only saw Chris Rock and Sam Jackson.
I did. I was like, this is awesome. I thought it was so good. I liked seeing him in that. When I got done, I was like, I might almost want to watch this movie.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looks
I
great.
just don't do
Cody
horror.
almost wants to watch it, except she'll sleep with the lights on and keep her kids awake the whole night to protect her.
I will snuggle with the babies, that's for sure.
Oh,
And
speaking
then
of movies that would
yeah.
make you want to snuggle with the babies, The Night House with Rebecca Hall.
I know it's another horror movie. This one had a good twist, though. This one was, she's in this beautiful, beautiful lake house overlooking this,
Lake.
western, like mountainous lake.
Yeah.
Okay, and then her husband commits suicide, and then she's being harassed by some kind of spiritual element. But then there's this twist that her husband was hiding secrets about the house, and that she may be part of the supernatural element more than she thinks. So I like the twist. That actually, it felt more thriller than horror.
Yeah.
And Rebecca Hall's really good. I like her. So
Yeah, she's terrific.
I kind of almost wanted to see that one too.
I'm definitely anticipating for it. It's not going to be
Whose is
for
that?
Searchlight.
Searchlight.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be for the majority of people, but I at least like the visual elements that create twists within the movie, or it seems like it's creating twists within the movie. And, after seeing The Unholy, I'm all up for something horror-based that, has something else to it.
This felt so original in its
Exactly.
concept.
Exactly.
I think that's what got me about it. It didn't feel like just a gory, horror film, but it felt like something you'd have to think about, something that was going to have twists and turns in it, and that's something that would stay with you afterwards, like that really like gets you at the end.
Yeah, and I think those are the best type of horror movies. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it. It looks good.
I thought that one actually, I was really surprised. I thought that one looked good. I don't do horror, but that one I think I could get behind. Spiral, only because of the characters in it.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson and Chris Rock. I think I could watch Spiral.
And I think The Night House comes out in May.
Does it?
I think so.
No.
Does it?
Does it? I didn't check the release calendar to see.
I'm spacing off the top
But
of my head.
when we're done with this, I'm going to go double check it on
Yeah.
silverscreeninsider.com.
And so should everyone else.
Yeah.
To prove me wrong.
I want to see if we have any assets and stuff on it too.
Oh, we got assets.
Good. And
Big
then,
assets.
then the last trailer we watched is Spirit Untamed.
Perfect timing for that.
Yeah. And it's from Universal. It's a DreamWorks film, and Universal is distributing that now. So.
Yep.
I love how every time you say something, you're surprised. Like,
I can't
it's
believe I
from
thought of that.
Universal?
Universal?
I got that
DreamWorks?
right.
Yes,
In her head, she's high-fiving herself. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Go me.
Yeah.
So the rubbery animation that we talked about last week is still there
Yeah.
in this trailer.
It is. It's a little rubbery animation. We said it looked like that Princess Sophia TV show on Disney Plus
It looks
Junior.
like the new Mickey Mouse TV shows where
Yeah.
it's just like everything's
But
bulbousy. I don't know if there's
right,
another
pretty
word.
rounded.
Yeah.
But I liked the story. I like the general theme of being true to yourself, and yeah, I thought it looked like a great kids movie, and it'll be in June, and it'll play well, and
But it's animated. It's got a horse in it.
yeah,
Book it.
book it everywhere.
You can't go
I'm
wrong.
not gonna be like,
Take the
the
win."
quality's not where it was, because as we saw, like with Raya, the quality was beautiful, but people don't go because it's beautifully animated. They go because it's a good story, and
Or it's relatable.
yeah, or just
you need to
different
get the
and
kids
new.
out of the house.
Yeah.
Or,
Or it's a rabbit bunny themed
Yeah.
movie at
or
Easter.
it has bunnies or ponies. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Raya just suffered from being the second week of Tom and Jerry. It was crazy
think
how
it's-
much it affected it.
Well, that, and I think it suffered from being on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That definitely undercut the grosses. And so this will have an exclusive theatrical on it, at least for a few weeks. So
Perfect. Book it.
17 days, Universal to the rescue.
we hope that gets changed to 30 or 45.
Maybe
But
they
I'm
will.
taking 17 right now.
Maybe they
Still
will.
pandemic model.
Yeah.
2022, we're going to have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
17 is no longer a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah. I think we got through the trailers and everything we needed for the week.
Gosh, it was a good week. Not too many changes. Just the Mortal Kombat move, but I can handle that. That one I got.
We'll let it slide.
We'll let that one slide, Warner Brothers. Only because
mean-
you're doing so good with Godzilla right now.
She smoked a cigar in bed last night, but other than that, she's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
I was doing a Churchill impression in bed.
Okay, and on that note, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and over at silverscreeninsider.com. And be sure to check out that website if you're a theater owner or manager needing updated film information and all the marketing assets to promote those movies.
Yes, have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.